Um, yeah, it's an interesting question because it's like we're obviously still at a time where we have to make the extra effort to notice it and celebrate it and put it up front. Um, so obviously we still have work to do um, for it to just become a part of our lives, and we don't have to have like a special day to say that like women empowerment and empowered women, etc. But I think that that's one of the reasons why I got excited about accepting this job because there are some elements to coaching and working in the W that you know you don't have elsewhere. Um, you have an opportunity, I think, to play a bigger role in the community in impacting young girls and young women and different groups and organizations and people that I think don't necessarily come with other sports leagues. So I think we're fortunate from that standpoint, and I'm not sure what other things were going on like throughout the day in terms of how the jumbotron and people that were celebrated throughout the game. Like I miss all of that stuff, but hopefully it was a positive experience for everybody that was here, and that we're doing a good job as an organization of making sure people know that for us it's normal. That our president and GM on the basketball side is a woman. That our COO and president on the business side is a woman. Our senior vice president is a woman. Like so, we're run by women for the most part. And again, that's another reason why I was excited about being a part of this organization.
Coach Rico Cabrera, Daily Sports Scene. Good win, Coach.
Thank you.
Two quick questions. Your thoughts on having a full complement of professional players at your disposal now in terms of what we expect as a full squad of Sparks players. And then secondly, without going into the officiating too much, but TRP, when she went down, can you explain a little bit about what happened there?
Yeah, no, I think we're continuing to kind of discover, um, what 8, 9, 10 players on a given night are going to be the best ones, to play in different situations. The amount of minutes, obviously foul trouble at times may dictate it. The matchups in terms of your opponent may dictate it some, but I think we're starting to drill down into you know what we feel like will be a consistent, 8 to 9 players that will see minutes, kind of no matter what, and then it's just a matter of how many. Today we had a chance to finish the third quarter strong without making some substitutions, so we decided to go that route instead of taking some players out. And I thought that was good to help us kind of keep the momentum going that we had started to establish in the third. So it's a good problem to have. It's sometimes it's a little icier in the locker room from certain players, because they all want to play, and we'd rather have players that are upset about not playing than acting like it's all good. So that part works for us, and then yeah, with TRP, I think she's a person that is always battling, wedging her way in between screens and picks, etc. And there are times where she gets hit, whether it's with a hip sticking out or a little bit of a sliding of the screen, and those are tough calls. There's so many of them. I think it's hard for officials to get all of them right, but we know TRP's makeup, so we kind of know when she falls down and doesn't get back up that she probably didn't just fall down on her own. But hopefully, should be fine come Tuesday.
Coach, Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. It seemed like when NECA got hit in the second quarter that, I don't know, she went down, she was down for a little bit, and then all of a sudden she just gets back up and is the main factor in like the next four possessions. Can you just talk about what kind of example she sets for the other players on the team in terms of her physicality and her leadership?
Might want to get comfortable because I could talk forever about that. Um, yeah, no, I mean NECA is that's her, right? Like the resilience. I think the mental and physical toughness to just consistently be who she is. Like that's a hard thing for all of us to do, even just as people. Better yet, professionally speaking. And so she comes to work every day with a purpose, with a positive energy about herself that is infectious. I think her example of how hard she works allows her to then call other people to the carpet and hold other people accountable. And that's really ultimately what you need in the locker room. The coaches can't always deliver the message that needs to be delivered. Just about in every industry, like how your peers feel about you is what really matters. And so NECA's leadership on a daily basis, the role that she plays for us, like she's as reliable as it gets. She takes care of herself. She's always available for her team. She plays many roles and wears many hats for our organization, and we're thankful to have her on our side.
Um, Patty, HB Media. Coach, can you speak to the intensity and the attitude that Raquana brings to the game defensively and what that does for the rest of your team?
Yeah, no, just like we talked about with NECA, the players that just compete hard and aren't afraid of, mixing it up a little bit. That's what it takes to win, and that's what Raquana brings on a daily basis. She's fearful offensively. She's willing to take shots and make shots, and I don't think many people have given her credit for the way she defends. I think, but she's capable of really, really getting after it on the defensive end, and you need those examples as well for everybody else. Like you need to see TRP picking up the other point guard full court. Like you need to see Elena Beard at 37, battling injuries, etc. Like diving on the floor for loose balls, getting elbowed, and still getting up and going to play the next possession. And Raquana brings that kind of attitude. And so as we've gotten healthy, instead of TRP being the only one out there that that's kind of her DNA, so to speak, as a perimeter player, to see Elena Beard out there mixing it up, to see Raquana out there mixing it up, that energizes Sydney Weiss. That energizes Chelsea to go out and compete harder and give more of themselves on the defensive end. So, we're glad to have Raquana back, not just offensively, but on the defensive end as well.
Time for two more, John and then Brady.
Coach John W. Davis with W Insider, acknowledging that you have 12 players back now and the fact that you've been winning for as long as I can remember at home. How do you take that on the road and start to get wins down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, having everybody available can help us in that regard. I think one, we definitely need to get off to better starts on the road. We've found ourselves in the last couple of road trips at least, constantly playing from behind and having to expend a lot of energy to get back into the game, which is hard to do against any opponent. So, that'll be the first step. And then, yes, hopefully having our full complement of players will allow us to then sustain, the energy it takes to start well, that we can bring a fresh, healthy body in and keep the defensive intensity, keep the communication up, keep the pace in our game in terms of running the floor, pushing the ball, attacking the rim, playing with the level of physicality and toughness that you have to play with. And so that's where the bodies help, even if it's 12 minutes, that's 12 minutes that, some other player or combination of players is getting a chance to get a rest, and then they can come back and they're energized and ready to go. So hopefully, those things will help us. Doesn't guarantee. It's hard to win on the road in any sport, honestly. Some of the best teams are maybe 500, on the road because it's that hard. So, we're gonna try to, I think, give ourselves at least a better chance to have an opportunity to win on the road starting on Tuesday night.
Brady Klopfer, LA Times. Derek, you held Courtney Williams and Jasmine Thomas to rather inefficient scoring nights. It seems like your guards and wings were doing a pretty good job of driving them into the help defense and whatnot. What did you like from your perimeter defense?
I think just the commitment to keep sticking their nose in there and playing the next play. When you guard good players like those two, they're going to score points. Like they're going to get the best of you on a lot of possessions because they're that good. But like the mental fortitude and the ability to kind of like let that roll off your back and like stick your nose in there the next time and be determined like, okay, she scored on me the last 2 times. I'm not letting it happen this time. Trusting that your teammates are going to have your back and that you can apply the appropriate ball pressure without fear of like if she gets around you, she's going to go all the way to the basket and lay it up. So, I think part of playing against good players is the commitment to stick your nose in there. And then there's a trust factor that you have to have in your teammates that you can take the risk of sticking your nose in there and you're not going to get embarrassed after because nobody was willing to have your back and rotate for you. And, that's something that I think we've been improving in that area. And I thought overall we were really good, and it's hard against good teams because they shoot the ball well. And in the first half, they were 6 out of 13 from 3, so it makes you reluctant to keep showing a crowd. But we did a good job to stand with it.
And here we go now with our outro here, wrapping things up from the Staples Center, and the Sparks with another huge win at home, the 11th in a row, on fire here. Now they got to keep the fire burning and very, very much in heated position as they go on the road here for a week or so, and then they're going to come back and finish up the season. So what happened tonight? Big win, 84-72, Sparks dominating the Connecticut Sun only after the first quarter. It was pretty even the first period, and then the defense locked them down, 13 points in the second, 13 points in the third, and then they had about 20 in the fourth. But that was a little too much, too late, and it was too much to overcome for the Connecticut Sun. Sparks win here on We Are Women Day, the 5th annual, and again, it continues to explain and tell the story about women's importance in sports, in life, and in all phases of things that are happening here in our country, and of course here in Los Angeles, California, the home of the LA Sparks. So that will do it for Eric Sarney doing the directing and producing through his photography and videography. Yours truly, Rico Cabrera, handling the write-ups and the post-game interviews and the press conference. We want to thank you for watching another edition of East LA Sports Scene. So stay with us. We're having more content. We're doing high school football. We just kicked off our first live stream game. We're coming up on Friday with Roosevelt taking on Wilson, and that again will be live streamed. So continue to watch us on our website, eastlasportscene.com, for much, much more content, and it's brand new. So continue to help us, support us, and subscribe to us on YouTube, but also watch us on our National Federation of High School Sports Network, the NFHS network for high school football. So till we're together again, be careful, be safe, but more importantly, be back as we continue to follow the WNBA and the LA Sparks. Take care, and we'll see you soon.